Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of CookieCast. Today on CookieCast is the football podcast, but I don't even know how to process this. The head honcho is not here. What are we going to do? Is it really football if Paul's not here? Is it not just like football minus? I mean, it's football without the man of the. I don't know how to process it. I can't deal. But on the other hand, we replaced Paul with a returning. That's right, returning Mr. Matthew Moore, and that makes everything okay. Before we get started, please do consider like, share, subscribe, and comment. Leave a review where you can leave a review. The big one. The daddy of all things, share the podcast around. If you've got a football fan in your life, send this to them. They'll love it. They'll absolutely love it. Right, let's get started. Here we go. This is CookieCast, the football podcast.
Hello. Welcome along to this week's CookieCast football podcast. Now, you might be aware, I'm not Paul. Paul carried on his own last week. So first and foremost, thank you to Paul for doing that whilst I was off on my jollies. I have returned unwell, but yeah, I'm still here. And I don't know if it's because I'm unwell, but Paul has now run away. Andy, having the busy week that he has with everything CookieCast Towers, is in the background tinkering away, getting stuff ready so that things like this reach your eyes and ears on time. So I've had to call in the big guns, ladies and gentlemen. He's back. Mr. Matthew Moore, back in the fold for the upcoming episode. And we're going to do our best to talk things football. So, all good, Matt?
Yeah, yourself?
Yeah. Aside from the fact that I probably look and sound like crap to all of the listeners, but yeah, we'll get through it. We'll get through it. So Paul, in his absence, has very kindly left some lovely notes, and I have got the information from last week's predictions. So I suppose we should start with the first game from last week's predictions, which was the Middlesbrough-Millwall game. Now, again, I said he's very organised. He sent me a bit of a readout. So here we go. He said, the first half was very quiet. A couple of chances for each side. A header from a Millwall set piece blazed over. And Borough had a chance for Whittaker after a mazy run through the middle from Dijksteel. Into the second half, Millwall had a shout for a penalty early on, but not really enough contact on Bradshaw for it to be given. Honeyman had a chance that was saved at close range by the keeper. And they also blazed one wide from the corner. From the corner of the box. But eventually the pressure kind of took hold and they took the lead on 65 minutes. Ball in from the left-hand side found the feet of Howson, whose attempted clearance went straight to Negley on the penalty spot, who controlled and finished past the keeper Travers. Borough pushed for an equaliser but came up short. An effort from Fours going wide being the best opportunity they mustered in the remaining time. He remarks it was a disappointing 1-0 loss. It brings Millwall right into the playoff chase. Them, Middlesbrough and West Brom are now all just 3 points off the last playoff spot, currently occupied by Coventry City. More on them later. So, in terms of predictions, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. Nobody got any points at all. Paul with his 2-1 scoreline to Borough, same for me. And Andy had a 2-0 scoreline to Borough. Nobody picked the Millwall goal scorer. So that is the Middlesbrough game all tied up. So now I can do this for the first time out. Over to our Nottingham Forest correspondent, Mr. Matthew Moore, for his review of the Forest Everton game.
Yeah, I think, as I've messaged you guys over the past few weeks, I think we said, like just after Christmas, I think I came on and I was like, oh yeah, we should have bought players. And it sounds greedy, and it's like kind of got stuck in that kind of thing of I just think they've got to the point where there's too many injuries and too many games, and I'm not sure if I don't think we've got found out. But what I would say is Everton, if you look at all the results Forest have had against Everton since they've come up, it's not been, apart from the away game earlier this year, they've not been a happy hunting team, shall we say? So listening to the kind of radio commentary that there was and reading the reports and stuff like that, Forest didn't seem to get out the gates at all. There was no real fire. Wood was back in the team, which was a bit of a surprise. But Alanga was out, which I think Forest struggled with his lack of pace. But Everton seemed to dominate the ball a lot, but for no kind of real reward. And then I think it's that kind of thing of like, did they see the Everton game as, oh, we've really got to win this game to really push home the European place or like the Champions League place, as opposed to what they've done probably previously, like maybe a month ago or two, of just taking the draw and thinking, right, that's a point in the bag. Just let's move on. We know what Everton are like. And if you see the goal, Murillo loses the ball just inside the Everton half, and then they break with speed. Whoever carries it a long way because there's no Forest defenders about. It seems like there's Murillo and Nico Williams back, and the ball gets carried a massive distance, and then it's played out to Decore, who just slots it past Sal's, 94th minute, and you just think that's not been the Forest way this year. It's kind of been like, you get to 60 minutes, what have we got? Make a change to kind of either save something, like get a point, or make a change to keep what we have. And that didn't seem to happen on Saturday for some reason against Everton, who are not the terrible team that they were kind of when we played them earlier on in the season. They're quite solid. So, yeah, a 1-0 loss. And I think I saw a stat the other day that says it's 5 losses in 10 now for Forest, which is not the best form kind of thing. And it's just coming to that kind of important part of the season where other teams have started picking up results, like Man City, like Newcastle, like Villa last week against Forest. So yeah, a disappointing 1-0 loss. But hopefully we've got like 9 days off between the Everton game and the Spurs game coming on Sunday night at 8:00, which was a weird time. That one flummoxed me. I thought it was Monday night. So hopefully they've got a break. Hopefully we get some players back. Hopefully they just kind of get a bit of a rest and a refocus for the last 6 games. So yeah.
Notice that thing about you want to like make sure you keep the form at the right time, but the saving grace with them doing as well as they are and them being in the Premier League as opposed to Championship is, even if they crawl over the line and manage to do it by a point on the last day, whatever, and I know that won't sit necessarily that well with you, at least they don't have playoff games to play for it afterwards as well.
Yeah.
That's just it. That's just it done. So fingers crossed that works in their favour. So again, with the scoring on the podcast predictions, safe to say nobody saw that coming, as both Paul, myself, and Andy all had a 2-0 Forest win. So for the second game in a row, no points. So everybody's level. So yeah, that's
We
it's
see
not looking
where
great.
this is going.
Well, the last game on the predictions for last week was my team. I was back from my holidays in time to go to the game, except for I sounded even worse than this and felt much worse than this. So I didn't actually manage to get to the game, but lucky for me, the game was on TV, so I did manage to watch it on the old Sky telly box. Coventry definitely had the better of the first half, but Ivor Pando was having an absolute game of the season type of night and was equal to everything Coventry were throwing at him. However, Hull should have taken the lead on 38 minutes as Casey Palmer missed 2 chances in quick succession against his former employers. Both shots blocked on the line. He kind of picked the ball up inside the 18-yard box and fairly central. He tried to place one left-hand side, I think it was first. Defender on the line blocked it, and it came straight back to him. So his instant reaction was to then try and place it into the opposite corner, but the time that had passed had allowed other defenders to get back, and there was already somebody there. So it felt like, it was definitely had they'd had the better of the first half. If we'd have taken that chance just before half time, that could have made a lot of difference. But as it stood, 0-0 at half time, nothing else really happened after that one. But then in an exact repeat of the Luton game, Hull were behind after less than a minute of after the restart. As Grimes' shot was horribly deflected in by Charlie Hughes. At the time, it was given as an own goal, I believe, because it wasn't great. The ball popped up 20 yards out to Grimes, who just had a bit of a pot shot. Charlie Hughes was sort of backing across the penalty area, roughly where the penalty spot is, and just stuck a boot out on it, which, as a centre half, is not exactly what you're looking for. Because he didn't kick it to clear it; he just effectively guided it past Pando. So Hughes managed to do the thing that Swansea had struggled for an entire first half, and that was put the ball past his own keeper. In the light of day, however, it has been credited as a Grimes goal, so we'll see if that affects anything later on. It did kind of look like the game was going to be settled by that. It was really tepid second half, but then substitutes Amrabat and Kamara for Hull combined to draw them level on 82 minutes. Amrabat is easily the oldest player in the side. He's only been used bit part players. He is built like a tank, that guy. He plays with a smile on his face. You can tell that he's doing it to enjoy it. I think possibly the part he enjoys the most is the fact that he is an absolute shithouse. He puts himself about a lot. A lot. His tackles aren't necessarily accurate, shall we say. But he does get a job done. And where he might lack his pace nowadays, you can tell that he's played the game to a certain level because just his positioning and everything makes up for quite a lot of the lack of pace in certain areas. And this was the case when he won the ball back on the left wing. The first thing he did was make sure his body stayed between the ball and the guy just taking the ball off. Had a good long look up, seen Kamara was free on the right hand side, switched the ball completely to the opposite side of the pitch, allowing Kamara to run onto it, cut in slightly, and have a shot. Much like the Coventry goal, though, however, the shot was deflected and it went in. So 2 goals in the game, 2 wicked deflections, but it finished that way. So Hull needed the point, really, because that point now keeps us 3 points outside the relegation places, with a better goal difference than those that are currently in it. So there might as well be an extra point, I guess, in that regard. Coventry, however, as we were saying, we're chasing the playoffs, and that's now kind of they're I believe in 6th. So they're the team that, like, Middlesbrough, West Brom, Millwall are now all 3 points behind. So they obviously could have done with a win to kind of solidify their position a little bit. I should probably, as we've mentioned, the playoffs as well there. I think Sunderland are now the first team to actually cement their place. Obviously, besides the top 2, if one of them Leeds might end up dropping out or something, who knows? But yeah, Sunderland have officially qualified, if you like, for the playoffs. So a 1-1 draw. Who had that on the predictions? Oh yeah, that would be nobody. Everybody had a Hull win. So no points for the score. However, could we get one for the scorer, or are we about to make podcast history? Paul had Gelhardt and João Pedro to score for Hull, so no points there. I had João Pedro, so no points there. Andy had Matt Crooks. So, for the first time ever, we have gone through an entire week of predictions, albeit 3 games. It's not like any more than that, but an entire week of predictions, and not one of us scored any points. In fact, Matt didn't even predict last week, and he has technically appeared to draw on this episode with everybody else now. So here we go. So yeah,
I mean, technically, I finished second on name, alphabetically.
Don't set me off laughing because I'll start coughing again. So yeah, so that is last week's games all tidily wrapped up. Now, for the coming week, we don't have 3 games. We have 5 games. It's Easter weekend, so everything outside the Premier League gets the Good Friday, Easter Monday treatment. Now, Matt, you said your game was on Sunday. I had a feeling that it was on Monday when I looked.
I'll have a check. I'm sure I saw. Maybe I just got the date wrong.
Yeah, I've got you down for Monday at 8 o'clock, so you were right. It is a Monday kickoff. So
it is Monday. Yeah, yeah.
we've got Borough and Hull with a game on Friday, and then all 3 teams in action on Easter Monday. So we'll get started. I do have predictions already from Paul and Andy. So obviously the first one is Middlesbrough's game against Plymouth. So we'll start with Andy's. Andy has gone for a 2-0 Middlesbrough win with Azaz and Ian Nacho to score. Matt, do you want to give us yours?
It made me laugh. I saw something earlier that Carrick said this isn't a must-win game. I mean, it absolutely is a must-win game. So I've gone for a 2-1 Borough win. Conway and Whittaker to score for Borough, and Tijani for Plymouth.
Now, I know when Paul's making the notes, we like to give him awkward spellings, but seeing as I'm guessing, you could have helped me out with that one.
To be fair, I think that was one of the easy ones. Tijani, Tijani.
Okay, cool. I have gone for, much like Mr. Cook, a 2-0 home win, but I have gone for Conway and Bergzorg to score. And even though he's not here, it's his team, so his prediction will come out last. And Paul, on his jollies currently, must have been drinking during the day because he's gone for 3 goals for the Middlesbrough and only 1 for Plymouth. I should point out, by the way, Plymouth beat Sheffield United in their last game. I mean, all the good teams beat Sheffield United this season at Sheffield United. I'm just saying. But his goal scorers for the Borough: Conway, Whittaker, and Azaz. And for Plymouth, he's gone for Bundu. So we move from Middlesbrough all the way down to the south of Wales, where Swansea take on Hull City. Now, I can tell you in the book we have very similar predictions already, but I'm going to start with yours this time, Matt, if that's all right.
Yep, I've gone for a 1-1 draw.
Okie doke.
With O'Brien scoring for Swansea.
Yep.
And Pedro scoring for Hull.
Okay, so spoiler alert. All 4 of us have predicted a 1-1 draw. With varying goal scorers. So, as I said, everyone's gone for 1-1. So Andy's goal scorers are Darling and Crooks. Paul's Ronald, and Palmer. And I've gone for Cullen and taken one from Mr. Moore there, Pedro, to score. So yeah, everybody confident that nobody's winning that game. So we go from the south of Wales on Friday all the way through to Monday at 3 p.m. Hull versus Preston. So second Hull game on the spin for the predictions. Andy has got a 2-0 Hull win with Crooks and Gelhardt to score. Paul has also got a 2-0 Hull win, also with Crooks to score, but has gone for Pedro as his second goal scorer. Matt?
I've gone for a 2-1 Hull win with Kamara and Crooks scoring. for Hull, and Kesler Hayden, Preston, Kesler Hayden, Haydem. And that genuinely is the most normal Preston player name.
Yeah, yeah. Having been to Preston on Boxing Day, I can vouch for that one. Their shirt printer must have been lovely all afternoon. I've gone for a 1-0 home win. Desperate for this one because we need to avenge Boxing Day because it was woeful. But I've gone for a Gustavo Puerta goal to seal the deal on Monday. Okay, so not moving too far down the road from Hull, we land in Sheffield, where Sheffield Wednesday play host to Middlesbrough. I have gone for a 1-1 draw. Masaba for Wednesday and Azaz for the Borough. Matt?
I've gone for a 2-1 Borough win. Gassama for Sheffield Wednesday, Gassama, and Bergzorg and Azaz for Borough.
Okay, you might be hearing some more of those names in a second. Andy has gone for a 2-0 Middlesbrough win with Bergzorg and Azaz to score. And Paul has gone for a 1-2, so Middlesbrough 2-1 away win with Windass to score for Wednesday and Bergzorg again and Hackney. Right, the very last prediction of the podcast. Tottenham Hotspur versus Nottingham Forest. You're going to be happy with Andy's. Whether you'll agree with it or not is a different story. Andy has gone for a 0-3 Nottingham Forest win with Wood to notch twice, and he has gone for Elanga. But is he out or is he?
He was on the bench and came on Saturday.
Ah, okay, that's fair enough then.
I think, yeah, he came on, but if it's that kind of thing. If it is this 8 to 9 days rest, then hopefully he'll be back. It's just if he's had a setback or anything, but there's no mention of a setback yet.
Yeah, I love that optimism. Yet,
but Nuno does that annoying kind of keep you guessing. So yeah, he came on and that played 31 minutes at the weekend.
Okay.
I mean, spoiler alert, I've got him in my prediction. So
okay. Yeah, well, we'll definitely leave him in Andy's then. So, Paul has gone for a Tottenham 1, Forest 2 scoreline. He's gone for all boy rule clearly. Johnson for Tottenham, and he's got Wood and Gibbs White as his Forest goal scorers. I've gone for a 1-1 draw. As Matt mentioned earlier, little concerned about Forest's current form, but Tottenham's form is currently throw a dart in a dartboard with your eyes shut and see where it lands. So who knows? Andy's prediction could well be right if that sort of bad team turn up. But I've very firmly sat on the fence with this one and gone 1-1. I've got Wood to score for Forest. And unfortunately, because we know where he came from, I've gone for Solanke for Tottenham. Yeah. Okay, Matt, that just leaves you for your team's prediction and the last one of the podcast.
This one generally could go any way, any which way. If they beat, so obviously Spurs play Eintracht Frankfurt on Thursday in the Europa League. Obviously, it's still on Angie's old prediction of I win a trophy in my second season kind of thing, and obviously they're still in there. They're 1-1 and they're going away. If they go through, Forest's chances are better because they'll come back and they're still in it, and Ange'll still be the manager. My worry is that they get knocked out on Thursday and he is effectively left in Germany and told, get yourself a ticket back to Australia, mate, because you ain't coming back to Spurs. And then that's when I'm like, right, who's going to... Because they'll clean... it'll be basically like clear house. and it'll probably end up being the guy who was at Hull, Ryan, the guy who took over before.
Oh God, Mason Ryan.
That's the one, yeah.
Yeah.
And Spurs will probably come out and they'll set up better and they'll come flying out the traps and probably beat us like 3-0. But long way around of saying I've gone for a 2-2 draw. I've got an old boy rule with Johnson because he is having a good season. In a bad season for Spurs, he's having a really good season. And Maddison, because he's ex-Leicester and seems to like scoring against Forest. And I've gone for Wood and Elanga for Forest. But this one is, it's all over the map. Genuinely, it could be Forest go there and just stomp them. Spurs could sack Ange on Thursday night, Friday morning, and they stomp us that day, or it just peters out into a pitiful draw kind of thing.
You know, it's Ryan Mason, not Mason Ryan. Me being in my wrestling mode has given you the name of a former Welsh wrestler by swapping the names around. It's Ryan Mason. So yeah, there we go. I knew it didn't quite sound right, but it kind of was right when I said it. You know, when you're like,
I heard it and I was like, yeah, I know Ryan's in there somewhere. I just can't.
Well, we've been so indoctrinated into the Forest way now. Anytime somebody says Ryan, my brain goes Yates. It's just what happens. So yeah, so that is it. That is the predictions wrapped up. I am somewhat reliably informed that unless Paul comes back from his holidays in a similar form of health, that he will be back next week. You'll have to join us then to find out if we are at a full squad or indeed not. But we will cross that bridge when we come to it. We might be comatose on Easter chocolate by then. Who knows? Was there anything else, Matt, you wanted to bring up for this one?
No. I've probably missed loads of things in the few months I've been off, but no. Obviously, FA Cup final tickets have sold out. 34,000 for 34,000 for two sets of fans in a 90-seater stadium. Whereas the other 26,000 other tickets gone for, 22,000 other tickets gone for those kind of situations, you know. I think it's I think I said it to you guys at the time. I understand it for the FA Cup final. Like I was speaking to someone at work and they were like, "Oh, we couldn't get them for the League Cup final for Newcastle." And I was like it's a corporate event, the final, but a semi-final isn't. Like who's going to a semi? You know, it's an FA Cup semi-final. 22,000 tickets just somewhere in the ether of Wembley lining people's pockets, which is a shame. And even for someone like myself who can't go, struggles to go, can't, that type of thing. But for people, there's people like I've seen online. Not so much. The season ticket holders are all taken care of. The people who pay for the extra membership have got that, but like the people who pay for the slightly lower membership and people who've been going for years can't get tickets, and you just like. There's going to be a load of people there who couldn't give a monkeys about who wins, and go 5 minutes before half time and come back 5-10 minutes after, and the ground will look half empty because it's the bit where the TV, for whatever reason, trains their cameras, and fingers crossed there might be some more tickets coming through, but I can't see it myself.
Well, I was just when you were saying that, I was just thinking. I wonder how many seats around that Club Wembley level, because that is the middle ring, in it, where it's all like the boxes that the companies and stuff have paid for, and like you said, that particularly will be a chunk of tickets, but that'll be the bit that is directly full of those people who are just like, yeah, I'm here on the free food and free beer all day, so have at it. Yeah,
nice day out of the football. You're like, yeah.
When I was lucky enough to go to the FA Cup semi-final with Hull against Sheffield United, we were sat on the top deck of Wembley Stadium, and that is where I learned a lot more about modern architecture and about how buildings can still move but still be stable. It was a bit dicey up there, shall we say, but still a good day out nonetheless. Right. that will do us then for this week's football podcast. Thank you very much for joining us once again. And like I say, hopefully we'll be maybe back up to a different quarter next week. If you've enjoyed it, more than Paul being on his own, because let's be fair, it's just Paul, innit? Then give us a like, a share, and a subscribe. And the t-shirt I'm wearing may be in no way foreshadowing that there's going to be a wrestling podcast out in the realms of the time that this one is also. So give us that subscribe. Get yourself on the wrestling podcast as well. It's WrestleMania week, people. So 2 podcasts are there coming your way. But again, don't forget the other stuff. We've got the Straight to the Apex, the F1 podcast, and of course, Andy's Darkest Timeline. So get amongst it. Right. Thank you very much. We shall see you next week.
So there you go, what do you think to that? No Paul, but Matt was back. It's kind of, offsets, doesn't it? We lose one, we gain one. It's, checks and balances. Strikes and gutters. All of that. Big thank you for watching, big thank you for listening, big thank you for being here. Before you leave us, if you haven't already, click that like button. Share the podcast around. Subscribe. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe. It doesn't cost anything. And nowadays, come on, find me something that doesn't cost anything these days. Leave a review where you can leave a review, and check out the website, thecookiecast.com. There we've got social media links and an email button, and that way you can get in touch with us. That is it for this one. Join us next week when, who knows, who will be here, who can tell. Find out then. Until then, I'm going to say bye, and I'll see you then.
Thank you for listening to these grumpy old men talk about football. If you've enjoyed this episode, please like, share and subscribe.